Round 17 of the URC settled a lot of issues in terms of who's qualifying for what and where they're going to finish in the table. We're going to have a look at the results first, talk a little bit about the games, and then have a look at the tables. And we're also actually going to look at the shields as well today. So first up, we had Sharks 43, Benetton 33. 2 tries in the first 6 minutes from Benetton. Great start from them. Sharks, though, worked their way back into the game, 14-all at half time. Back and forth in the second half. We have 7 more tries. Sharks coming out on the right side of the try count there. Williams and Mapimpi, their gas gets both of them a double. I think was it Williams scored already in the first half, but yeah, overall a double for both of them. And yeah, like Grant Williams, he's got some pace on him, and then Mapimpi not to be outdone as well. He showed that he's got some wheels too. And have a late Bosch penalty. It denies Benetton a losing bonus point, and that is very significant, as you're going to see when we have a look at the table. Next time we had Warriors 12, Scarlets 9. So Glasgow, they're actually losing this one early on. 2 early Jones penalties put Scarlets in the lead 6-0. Bailano try makes it a 1-point game at half time. Scarlets still in the lead there. Another Jones penalty stretches that out to 4 points for the Scarlets. Glasgow then take the lead with a converted try from Brown. It's at 12-9. This one, it was 2 informed teams. I was kind of expecting it to be maybe a bit of a high-scoring affair because both teams had hit really good form towards the end of the season, but it was a tight, intense affair all the way to the final whistle. Glasgow coming out just on top. Next in Ulster 40, Dragons 19. Dragons were competitive early on, reminiscent of their early season form after Di Flanagan had taken over. And a hat-trick from Tom Stewart, who broke the record for most tries in a season ever in the URC. Cooney, great performance from him, especially with the boot. He signed a new contract at Ulster. There was speculation that he might leave because he has declared for Scotland rather than Ireland, but I'm glad to see that he's going to stay there because that rivalry between himself and Doak, I think, is going to make both of them better players in the long run, and that's just got to be good for Ulster. I think they need to be adding quality players to their squad rather than losing them at the moment. Ulster then, they stretch away in the end and get a vital bonus point win in that scrap for second place in the table. Next time we have Bulls 78, Zebre 12. So hat-trick for Kena Moody, 11 tries in all. Zebre, they were competitive in games at the start of the season, but they're really falling away towards the end of the season. It's a record score in URC history from the Bulls and a much-needed win for them because they were falling down the table like a rock. Next in Lions 36, Leinster 39. So Leinster's unbeaten record almost went in this one. Leinster, though, did start very well. First minute, Abdeladze, first start for Leinster, scores a try in the opening minute, and it was actually a really good line. It took more of a centres line to score a try. Lions don't respond well, and they actually have the 4 try bonus point by half time. They're leading by 15 points, and at one stage Leinster are down to 13 players. And they did actually mess up some chances that probably would have put the game to bed. Leinster then score 18 unanswered points in the last 20 minutes. That includes a last-minute penalty from Prendergast that wins it. And he made his professional debut there after impressing in the Six Nations. And there were some good performances by a lot of players making debuts, but also from the old heads like Carney, Ruddock, Deegan in there as well. Next then we have Stormers 24, Munster 26. So we have a double from Hooker Barron in the first, I think it was 21 minutes, I think. Stormers then come back to make it 12-all thanks to tries from Mulherba and Nell. We then have another try each from Daly and Kitsoff, and then Coombs gets over despite some really stout defence from Stormers on their own line. Stormers really were holding them out very well, but if there's anyone that you want to get over from a metre out, it is Gavin Coombs. The guy just has a knack of body position, strength and technique to be able to get that ball down and over the line when other people seem to fail before him. Nell then scores with the clock in the red, and that earns Stormers 2 points from the game, one for a try bonus point and one a losing bonus point, which could in the end be vital for that battle against Ulster for second place. Next then it was Edinburgh 45, Ospreys 21. So 5 tries in the first 20 minutes in this one. 4 for Edinburgh, 1 for Ospreys. They're Edinburgh 35-7 up at half time. We then have 2 tries each in the second half, including a double from Darcy Graham. Edinburgh kept Ospreys pretty much at arm's reach in that second half. Final game then was Connacht 38, Cardiff 19. Connacht had the bonus point by half time. We have a young double for Cardiff as well. Some good play from Cardiff, but just not consistent enough in the game. Marmion then gets the biggest cheer of the night when he goes over for a late try. He's one of 8 players leaving the province at the end of the season. The crowd gave the department players and Andy Friend a big send-off in the last home game of the season. Andy Friend, the more you read about him and hear about him, he really did have a huge impact at Connacht, and he's going to be missed by Connacht and by Irish rugby overall as well. Now, let's have a look at the table and see what those results have done to it. So no change at the top. Leinster there, for a few rounds now that they haven't been able, not possible for them to be caught, and for a long time now we've pretty much known that they were going to finish top of the log anyway. Next in Ulster in second place with 64 points. Stormers just a point back with 63, which makes the final round really interesting between those two. And again, that late try for the Stormers makes it, so that Ulster, pretty much they've got to get maximum points to guarantee second place in their final game as well. So, it's going to be a lot of kind of watching results, I think, on that final round between the fans of those two teams. Next then is Glasgow on 58. They're pretty much secure in fourth place, I would say, at this point. It could be that Munster have an outside chance of pipping them, but I think Glasgow will get it done in the final round and just get that home quarter final. Munster then 5th on 53 points. Connacht 6th on 49. So those teams remain in those places. Same for really the rest of the top 8 as well. Bulls 7th 48, and the Sharks 8th on 46. So Sharks beat Benetton, who are 9th on 41. And you see there that denying them that bonus point means that there's a 5-point gap between the teams. It makes it a lot less likely that Benetton are going to be able to catch Sharks and pass them out. I think the real deciding factor there is the fact that Sharks have a points difference of 6 points to Benetton's minus 77. So I think that's a bit too much for them to overcome in that final round of games, even if they do get a bonus point win and Sharks lose with no losing bonus point or no match points at all. Next then in 10th place is the Lions. 11th is Cardiff on 39. Lions on 40, Cardiff 39. Edinburgh in 12th, 38. Ospreys 13th, 35. And Scarlets 14th, 34. So I think that group from the Lions down to Scarlets, those teams are in the final round are just kind of jostling for position more than anything else really, and depending on how results go from Benetton, they might get kind of wrapped up in that as well if they lose their game. At the bottom, then we have Dragons at 15th place with 19 points, and Zebre propping up the table with 10 points. Okay, let's have a quick look at the Shields. So starting with Ireland, Leinster, no surprise there that they are top. Ulster in second, Munster third, and Connacht fourth. There is a chance for Connacht to pip Munster to third place with a bonus point win, and then the Munster result going their way as well if Munster get no match points. On to then what is the most competitive of the Shields, and they use competitive in the sense that we still don't know who's going to win it, rather than the teams being particularly competitive in the log, the overall league, where they're all kind of outside the top 8. But Cardiff there at the top with 39 points, Ospreys 35 and Scarlets 34, Dragons at the bottom with 19. So, the 5 points separating Cardiff in first and Scarlets in third. We're going into the last round of games. Any of those top 3 could win the Welsh Shield, and there is a spot in next year's European Champions Cup riding on the winner list. So a lot of reward really for whoever can come out on top. I have read and have heard as well that this season will be the last season where qualification for the Champions Cup will include automatic places for the Shield winners. That's going to change after, it's basically the end of the 2023-2024 season. The winner of the individual Shields will not automatically qualify for the Champions Cup the next season, which I think is a good change. I'd rather see it just based on, completely on merit, based on where you finished in the overall league table. But this one, there is a Champions Cup spot on the line here. We've got Judgment Day in the Principality Stadium next weekend, and basically that is the Dragons and Scarlets game first, and then once they're done, Cardiff and Ospreys are playing each other as well. So Cardiff and Ospreys will know by the time that they kick off what they need to get that spot. It is possible for all 3 of the teams to finish on 39 points. That would mean Cardiff getting no points in their game against Ospreys, Ospreys winning without a bonus point, and then Scarlets winning with a bonus point. And in that scenario, then Scarlets would qualify because they would have the better points difference. Because at the moment, they've got the best points difference between the 3 anyway. And Ospreys have a lot to make up. They'd have to absolutely destroy Cardiff to make up that 43 points against a Scarlets team who at that stage have won with 4 tries as well. So I can't see Ospreys scoring 100 penalties or whatever against Cardiff and not getting 4 tries. So in the event that they all finish on the same points, I think it's almost certain that Scarlets are going to be the one to win that. But it's very interesting, something to keep an eye on for that last round, who's actually going to get that final Champions Cup spot. Then the Scottish Italian Shield, so Glasgow are top there, Benetton next, Edinburgh in third, and Zebre in fourth. So the one thing to be decided there is between Benetton and Edinburgh, who's going to finish second. My money would be on Benetton. Edinburgh going away, I think, to Ulster, who are looking to finish second overall and need a bonus point win to achieve that. So, Edinburgh aren't playing a team with nothing on the line. So even if Benetton lose, it mightn't be enough for Edinburgh, because I don't think they're going to win their game either. We'll talk a little bit more about this stuff anyway. We're going to do a preview for the final round of normal games. Then the South African Shield, so Stormers at the top there with 63 points. Bulls, who were right up the top of the log with them, in the top four, on their coattails for most of the season, in second, but now 15 points adrift to them. The Sharks then in third, 2 points back, and the Lions there in fourth with 40 points. So again, the one issue to be resolved there is who's going to finish second in the South African Shield. Bulls and Sharks both playing at home in the final round, and basically Sharks have to win, and the Bulls lose. Obviously, there is the possibility as well with draws coming into play, but we very rarely get draws in rugby. But if there is a case of the Bulls getting a draw, then Sharks would have to win with a bonus point. Okay, so that is the end of our wrap up for round 17. We will be back, as I said, for a preview of round 18, where we'll talk a little bit more about permutations of teams finishing in certain positions, etc. Then, so look out for that. Probably coming on Thursday would be my guess by the time we get around to do that. Tomorrow I will have stats out for the Women's Six Nations as well, so I'm looking forward to, I'm going to be working on that for, when I have time this evening, so I'm looking forward to that, because as far as I can see, there isn't much coverage in terms of, outside of game reviews and stuff, of stats and stuff for the Women's Six Nations. So if you're interested in that, have a look, but we have plenty more rugby coming on the channel.